All right, I promised you guys an article, and I can do one better. We got two articles now. That's one of the reasons why the promised I'll do it tomorrow got delayed to I'll do it 2 days from now because this dropped on the day I put out the video for the breakdown of the trailer and the gameplay. So I took key points from this. There's a lot of quotation words directly from the developer's mouth that are very important. They give you a lot of insight on how the development process is going. They might ease your mind a little bit towards how Ryu is going to be handled, which is very important. I know a lot of, let's say, old heads like myself, very passionate about Ryu staying Ryu and not getting platinumized, right? And this article is from a very dedicated fan, Wes Fenlon. Hopefully, I'm not mispronouncing that. Published 2 days ago on PC Gamer. So if you want to take a look at it yourself and go through the whole thing, it's relatively short, but it's very sweet. I took out some key points that we're going to go through. So let's start off here with the title. As Team Ninja says, Ninja Gaiden 4 is all about bringing together the stylish qualities of Platinum while retaining the distinct Ninja Gaiden feel, and the studio wouldn't hold back critiquing each other's work. And usually when you're doing collab, and this is me talking as a developer, when you're doing collabs with a different company, there's a lot of feedback that goes back and forth, and not all the time do you agree with each other. Like, there's a lot of times where ideas clash, and it becomes like, okay, which one is more popular? Which one is going to sit well with the audience? The majority audience is very important because you want as many people to buy the game and stick with the game and to be happy with their purchase. So when you're in the development room in a collab, it's 5 times as more difficult because not only you're doing your own team's vision, you're also trying to understand what the other team's vision is. So these usually get hard, but there is some beautiful quotes here that it rested my heart. I was very happy to hear some of the things they said. So, right here, Team Ninja is busy. On the heels of the remastered Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, practically a remake considering how it was, they put everything on Unreal 5 and it looked gorgeous. 80 gigabytes, but still gorgeous. The studio is working on Neo 3 for 2026, yeah, while also overseeing development of October's Ninja Gaiden 4. The game comes out October 21st, so mark your calendars, which is in the works of Platinum Games. Though they were once rivals for the fiefdom, which I think means like, the fighting space of like hack and slash and action games, of Japanese character action games. Ninja Gaiden 2 and Platinum Games Bayonetta came out about a year apart, and I remember fiercely arguing my allegiance to the former. Yeah, I know a lot of back in the day, hack and slash fans were very like, if you're a DMC fan, you're a diehard DMC fan, and you maybe like Bayonetta. If you were a Bayo fan, you hated everything else, you just like Bayo, but you appreciate DMC. And if you're a Ninja Gaiden fan, that was it. If Ninja Gaiden fans do not pay attention to DMC, they don't give a they don't care about Bayo. It's just Ryu, and it's respectable because it's very different from Bayo and Devil May Cry. Maybe God of War would be more up its alley, but it's more in the sense of gore. But anyways, now they're working together, and according to the developers, at least it's been a very good match. I mean, I can imagine, right? Platinum practically made a Ninja Gaiden game, which is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. The game itself is being developed by Platinum Games, but Team Ninja gets to build every day. Very important. Every update, every 0.0, they go up. Team Ninja gets to play it and test it and give feedback. And we have really in-depth discussion in terms of action and balancing, said Platinum Games director Yuji Nakao in an interview with PC Gamer after Sunday's Xbox Showcase. So this interview was immediate. They probably were still at the venue. They said, let's go in, do this interview, a couple of questions, and we're out. So, next one. Team Ninja's director, let's not butcher this, Masakazu Hirayama, added that they wanted to inject Platinum Game's unique, stylish approach into approach to action into Ninja Gaiden 4 while retaining the gameplay feel that longtime players expect from this series. Important here, because a lot of games, they can't do one-to-one. If it's sometimes even the studio itself doesn't do one-to-one, and that's one of the reasons. Like, I mean, if I can use a recent example that's not gonna piss people off, would be Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is vastly different from Tekken 7. I'm not gonna get into it because that's a whole can of worms. But Tekken 8 took almost an opposite approach of how Tekken 7 was. It's the same studio, but the development team was different. So you ended up getting a completely different package. Still a cool game though. Different articles here, unrelated, and they're older ones. So I'm just going to stick to the main one that's recent. I mean, 2 days ago, so it's pretty recent. Now, this. So you'll see the new stylish, dynamic expression that Platinum is known for through the toolset of the new protagonist, Yakumo. But when it comes to original protagonist, Ryu, we're very picky about making sure that Ryu feels right, he said. Ryu is being handled by Team Ninja. And Yakumo is Platinum's touch, right? So what this means is that they have creative freedom over what Yakumo does in gameplay. And we've seen a lot of what Yakumo can do. I keep saying Yakumo, it's Yakumo. And Ryu, from the very few clips we've seen, he is almost a one-to-one version of his Ninja Gaiden 3. And I'm hoping that he has the quality of life that Ninja Gaiden 2 also had. Weapons being one. He had probably his best and most useful arsenal in Ninja Gaiden 2. All his weapons felt important at some part of the game. You could literally switch to any weapon at any point and do amazing with them. 1, not so much, and 3, much less, because some enemies just don't care what you throw at them in 3. So I hope 2 has, I hope 4 Ryu plays like Ninja Gaiden 3 with having insane amount of moves he can do. His move list was massive, almost too overwhelming, especially on the Dragon Blade. And then, but your weapons kind of work like Ninja Gaiden 2, where when you hit, you can combo. You don't have to roll or do a rock, paper, scissors. Because in 3, if you hit an enemy, especially on higher difficulties, if you hit an enemy, 3 things can happen. They either get hit, they block, or they dodge. This 3 rock, paper, scissors sequence can happen on every swing Ryu does. Enemies can decide at any given moment, it's like, hey, I don't want to deal with the rest of the string. I'm just going to jump out, or I'm just going to block and put you on the defense. It really feels like Tekken 8 now. Holy shit. But yeah, I hope that's gone. Unless there is a really clear visual indication that, yeah, this guy is about to retaliate with some type of, move. So the player knows that, okay, this is coming. Because one of problem 3 still has, even in Razor's Edge, is that even your basic enemy can just randomly be like, nope, I'm going to block. And then you're just stuck there. So you either get deflected or you have to reposition to be able to land the attack. And considering they throw like 20 enemies at you, reposition might just lead into you sliding into an enemy. But if all is good, if everything is good, then Ryu in 4 will play like 3 and feel like 2, if that makes any sense. Because in 2, when you landed a hit, the enemy was all yours. You hit something, you hit them from something, you can kill them. That was it. And if that's possible in this game, that'll be amazing. Now, maybe occasional super enemies or like strong enemies can say something about you being able to touch them and kill them. Maybe they'll have mechanics to prevent that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back into this. On the new element that reminds me of a parry system in Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. I just talked about this. Platinum's best game. I'm pretty sure this is the person that wrote the article, this is a personal comment, which I can't really disagree on, but Bayonetta exists, so it's a perfect guard. A block at just the right moment, and you'll get to follow up with a unique attack. I have talked about this mechanic very extensively because perfect parrying is one of my favorite mechanics in any game. Royal Guard and Devil May Cry, all of them pretty much besides 1 and 2. Sekiro to a bit. The only thing I liked about Sekiro was the perfect parry, but the posture was very, very trash. So perfect parry. Yakumo has this. I don't know if Ryu will have it. We haven't seen Ryu do a perfect parry, but we've seen many times Yakumo do a guard that gets deflected, and then he does a follow up. And depending on how tight the timing was, the follow up can go from staggering to delimbing to killing outright. There was a Twitter clip that showed the parry mechanic. It was specifically focused on the parry, and it was a massive effect. And the enemy got delamped, and he immediately followed the parry up with a obliteration technique, which looked amazing. And I cannot wait to master that. And failed to do it on Ultimate Ninja and get absolutely destroyed. But if Ryu can do it, I'll probably never play Yakumo. I'm not gonna lie. If you pull that off, enemies will drop blood essence, which you can utilize by doing an ultimate technique, Hariyama said. So the blood essence are the red essences now. I haven't seen any other essences. Maybe there's blue ones. Maybe there's yellow ones, but I have not seen them. We have only seen red essence. This might be because they're trying to simplify things, mainly due to the fact that if you, and this is a complaint I had to, if you consume blue essence by accident, by trying to do a UT, you don't get the health. It just converts into currency at that point. You completely lose the ability to do a health. Yes, it gives you an instant double charge, but I don't think the trade-off is worth it. So I think they just said, okay, we're just going to make him red, and you just consume him. That's it. You just consume it to power up your UT. However, there was an instant, and it's kind of a theory. I cannot prove this. There was just one instant of it. There was red essence down on Yakumo in the IGN trailer. He had chip damage. He killed the enemy, and when the essence got absorbed, he recovered health. So maybe if you collect essence on neutral, meaning you're not doing anything, you're not charging, and like you're not doing any actions on neutral, it gives you health, or maybe at the very least, it recovers your gray life or chip damage. But if you hold triangle with Ryu to do an ultimate technique, or whatever Yakumo can do with red essences, which is, I think it's the Bloodraven, which is his charges as weapons into their stronger form, like the drill up here. Maybe it has two purposes. Maybe you can choose to get healed off of it, or you can choose to charge up, and that's amazing because that's exactly what I've always wanted from Ninja Gaiden. It's like don't penalize me for grabbing essence, and because in 2, if you grab, you're trying to charge and grab all the yellow essence, but you're low on health, and accidentally one of the blue ones just flies in, and then bam, you lost your healing, and you cannot get it back most likely. So it was kind of a flawed system. I didn't like it. It was risk rewarding, but the risk when you were low on health was not worth it. So. Yes. Another personal comment here, I think, later, but it's funny. What was it? Yeah, okay. We thought that it was a really good fit for the gameplay cycle of Ninja Gaiden, and another example of how we've been able to bring together the stylish qualities of Platinum games while retaining that distinct Ninja Gaiden gameplay feel. Which is true, because the parry directly comes from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It even has the same circle effect as soon as Raiden parries. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall for these meetings between the two studios as they debated what they did and did not feel right for the Ninja Gaiden. While Hariyama was, of course, perfectly polite in describing their own collaboration, both teams have had extremely strong opinions about the I went through this word yesterday and I completely forgot. Of hit stop and iframes and million other little details. So it basically means minuscule, like small details. So the important part here is that we all know how Platinum games play. We all know if you dodge, time stops. It's the Bayonetta mechanic. And iframes. You dodging has like insane iframes in Platinum games. It's almost like you dodge and nothing can hit you unless there's like a very, very horrible lingering hitbox. So, and usually you end up having limits to your dodge, like 3 dodges, and then you go into a long cooldown or something. Like Bayo slides and dance on the floor, stuff like that. So Obviously, you don't want that with Ryu. You don't want to slide 3 times with Ryu and he has to, like, I don't know, tie his shoes back up and all that. It will be annoying. So you might have infinite dodges but less iframes compared to Platinum games, right? And that would be good. That's Ninja Gaiden. And Ninja Gaiden movement is the most important thing. Knowing when to move, where to move is more important than any other hack and slashes. I'm a DMC nerd, and I'll admit that movement in Ninja Gaiden is way more important than any other game, hack and slashes especially. Um, if you know how to move, you will never get hit in that game. It's really important. So having a fast dodge that you can jump around with and avoid those tight timing hits, which in this game there is a platinum touch on it. If you've noticed in some of the clips, time slows down when there's perfect dodges. You perfectly dodge last second, time actually slows down for a second. Time slows down just a bit, and you get the blue after the ghost effects on your character. Yakumo has it, and Ryu has it too. Although I've seen Yakumo do a jump back. I don't know if that's his dodge. It wouldn't make sense if he doesn't have a slide or a step. He just jumps every time he dodges. That'll be really annoying a little bit. But yeah, I've seen Yakumo do a jump back, like a backward somersault, and you get the iframes, you get the slowdown. So I'm like, maybe Yakumo has more than one get out of jail free card move. So it's maybe just not just dodge, but we'll see. Even though we both make action games, we have very distinct and different sensibilities when it comes to how to approach action gameplay. Ariyama said. So it's a challenge, but also I think it was a big accomplishment that we were able to work really closely together, almost as if we were a part of the same studio. If there was something that I didn't vibe with, I'd be very honest. We'd be very flat with each other. It was very cool because we were able to use the logic of action game design to have these productive conversations. We're really good friends. So this practically sums up to, like, we had heated conversation about how it should be. This thing I touched upon initially is like, when you have two completely different teams, they have their own vision. So you have to understand each other's vision. And it's like a married couple, right? That you don't come to harmony unless you completely understand the other person. So it's kind of like that. It's a very strong relationship. And considering how Team Ninja has some of the best conceptual designs when it comes to gaming, the things they can, I mean, look at Neo, right? Look at Ninja Gaiden itself. No other universe has cool ninjas like Ninja Gaiden does. I know Itadaki created it, and Hayate, Mr. Hayate, carried it on. And I can't imagine how hard that was to be subjugated to having such a big responsibility on your shoulder randomly. And he did not perform good initially, but I think if this game succeeds with the help of Platinum, and Platinum is, well, Platinum. You played Bayonetta most likely. You played Metal Gear Rising for sure. You've played Transformers. You maybe played TMNT by Platinum. Their games are great. Their games are fun. Their action is fun. They're not super hard, but they can be challenging. And they're very easy to get into. And hard to master. And that's all you could want from a hack and slash game. So if we can come to a medium here, where my Ninja Gaiden is Ninja Gaiden, and I also get the thrill of Platinum game combat, it'll be a perfect world. And honestly, the only thing better than this would be if Suzuki-san from Capcom, well, now he's in Square Enix, will get a hold of this. But I don't think that will be better, because I think Platinum can replicate Ninja Gaiden better than Capcom can at the current time. Maybe if some new talents arise, we can make something. That's the end of this article. I did screenshot some of the key important points, but I ended up reading the whole thing anyways because it's just fun. I just love geeking about this stuff. This could have been at least half the time I spent if I shut up for 2 seconds and actually just read the article. But we have another one. This one is longer. This one is the Xbox Wire one. Way longer, more detail, a little bit more in depth with the process of development rather than the process of relationship of the companies. And this is my favorite mode Ryu has, so I cannot wait to actually use this. This is his 4 lights 1 heavy into 4 lights again. Into his I love this move. I spam it all the time. And 3 when I can land it. But this, also some very cool screenshots too. If you want to grab these, you can always go. Again, xbox.com, XYY, Ninja Gaiden 4. So, also, they fixed the price. There was a price error in this thing. The For some countries, not US. For US, it was correct. I know for Canada and in Euro, they messed it up a little bit. They refunded people that actually bought it. I don't buy pre-orders unless there's like a week before or a day before, because I don't like the industry being the way it is. So, but yeah, they fixed the price. So if you did buy the deluxe edition, you spent extra, they most likely refunded you. Check your email, check the messages on PSN. So that's that. But aside from that, let's try to skim through this because it's much longer, and I tend to ramble and geek out about hack and slash games a lot. So this article is provided by Sebastian Yamaguchi, editor, Xbox Bar Japan. So this most likely got translated, so some words might be a little bit harder to actually, some sentences might be a little bit harder to decipher. In the corner of Tokyo, now transformed into a dark rot-ridden metropolis, Yakumo finds himself in dire straits under relentless assault from the Divine Dragon Order. Those are the samurais, the cyber samurai guys. A faction boasting countless combatants, with his only lifeline, the healing life elixir, nearly depleted. Yakumo unleashes the powerful Bloodraven form in the fluid, seamless motion of vibrant red trailing behind his sword. Now, with the powerful abilities at his disposal, he begins to turn the tide of battle. So it's basically, to summarize this sentence, it's like, yep, Yakumo is in a bind, and he has to tap into his actual power with his Bloodraven form, which I assume somewhat is not good for him to use, because it says, with his only lifeline, the healing life elixir. It's like, okay, maybe he needs something. Maybe he's on some type of medication to actually, live on. That might be why his voice actor sounds like he's a little bit struggling. It seems like there is a weight on him. It's like he's sickly, or maybe it's just a very edgy delivery that I don't mind. It's actually, he sounds awesome. His Japanese is amazing too, if you've ever heard it. Okay, next one. It was just the other day, during one of the very earliest scenes of the game, that a surprisingly deep and diverse range of action unfolded before my eyes. In one of the conferences rooms at Platinum Games headquarters, so this was played at Platinum Games, I was given the opportunity not only to get a hands-on experience with the opening segment of the upcoming Ninja Gaiden 4, which revealed new updates at the Xbox Game Showcase, but also speak to Yuji Nakao of Platinum Games, who serves as both producer and director of Ninja Gaiden 4. While the new technique revealed that Ryu Hayabusa in the showcase clip was met with stay tuned for the future announcement. They're very hush-hush on Ryu. And nobody has played Ryu. Nobody has touched Ryu yet. Nobody has gotten hands-on gameplay, and even we've barely seen Ryu do stuff. I'd like to share with you what was revealed that day, along with the thoughts and intention of Nakao. Cool screenshot of Ryu doing a Ninpo in the stage that I said I was going to bring up, but I forgot about it. So this is the stage where Yakumo fights the flying four-legged creature, like a flying dog. It looks like a griffin, but it's not a griffin. I don't know the actual mythological name of it. This is the same stage. Different time of day, but this is the same stage. So I don't know if this means Chapter Challenge is confirmed, because again, it is different different lighting. However, when Ryu does Ninpo, everything around him does tend to get darker, especially in 3. So I'm gonna be optimistic and a little bit of copium and say that looks like a 3. I'm gonna just say that maybe this confirms Chapter Challenge is a thing day 1, and you can go through every stage with any character you want. And as of current, I think it's any of the 2, and these are the Tengu fighters. So cool stuff. A new era of Ninja Gaiden. It is the year of Ninja. Entering Chapter 1 of the game, one of the most striking moments during the opening scene was how seamlessly one of the Ninja Gaiden signature moves, the Obliteration technique, also known as OT, a finisher that puts dying enemies to rest. when enemies have missing limbs, you can press your heavy or a triangle or your Y on Xbox to finish them off. For people that don't know, it's an insta kill motion. Could now be woven into a variety of combos. This I don't know exactly what this means. Maybe you can combo into OTs now instead of stopping to press heavy. So yeah, that might be something. That might be really good, and maybe bad too if you think about it. As long as if I'm not hitting someone and press triangle to launch him, and Ryu's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go attack this guy that's delimbed," like two, and we should be good. The game offers a lot of new things you can do. That's one of its major appeals, says Nakao. We've paid special attention to the depth, range, and expensiveness of play, and especially to the techniques that can be elevated based on the player's skill level. Oh, this makes me extremely wrecked. I love when the developer says, and it's a developer I trust, by the way, not because a lot of developers prompt out their game and they end up being absolute dog shit. But when a Ninja Gaiden, especially when the developer from Platinum Games says that this game has skill expression if you're good, that is music to my ears. Because you've seen how certain people, like star players for DMC, play DMC, and you've seen how speedrunners play Ninja Gaiden, or people that do no hits and no damage. And there's not a lot of them because this game is extremely hard to no damage. So, skill expression in Ninja Gaiden, I'm all for it. And you've already seen it. There's perfect block, there's perfect dodge, and there's armor break moves you can do. So, I wonder if Ryu has the armor break moves too. We'll see. Where was I? The tone of his voice conveys that strong sense of anticipation. He clearly looks forward to seeing how players, both old and new, this is really good, striving to earn the revered rank of Master Ninja incorporate the game's system into their own playstyle. I'm pretty sure there's going to be Ultimate Ninja as well. We're not going to stop at Master Ninja. Maybe not day one, but they will add Ultimate Ninja. The better you get, the more you'll be able to build and execute unbelievable action sequences and combos. Undoubtedly, Ninja Gaiden 4 possesses the expressive depth to make such a thing possible. It always has. To even playing this game extremely efficiently just to kill and move on, it looks awesome. It looks really satisfying to look at. If you understand it. If you don't, it's going to be, it just looks like someone's just bouncing around, doing random shit. The world building has also slightly shifted with the introduction of Yakumo, who does not hail from the Dragon Ninja of the Hayabusa clan, but from a newly introduced faction known as the Raven clan. As a result, some of the finer details of the world have undergone changes. For instance, levels are dotted with what look like mechanical shrines. Yeah, it looks a little futuristic, which are the Raven clan's Darkness terminals. These function as hubs where you can restock items, take an optional mission. Restocking is probably just buying healing items. Optional missions. You got side quests in this? Optional missions to earn ninja coins. Okay, so yeah, you might have actual fucking challenges. I think that I missed this when I read it last time because I was reading it with a bunch of friends. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe do like fucking 200 OTs or UTs to get like. It could be anything. It could actually just be side quests. You might meet other people. It's like, hey, go save this civilian or something. Could be. It'll be very interesting. They could always put those in your path. Like when you go to like Haramasa, and he's like, hey, Ryu, this young lad is in trouble. Go save him. And then Ryu's like, says nothing and still goes, right? And that way you earn shit. That'll be cool. Kind of like, what game does this? What game has sight? I guess Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is kind of open world, but might be the same way. It might work the same way. Ninja Coin. And engage in casual conversation with Yakumo's operator, Umi, which is the Shrine Lady. I forgot her name. But yeah, the Shrine Lady for the Raven Clan, assumed Shrine Lady, is named Umi. Might be Yumi, but I'm going to just go with Umi. Another sick ass screenshot, and I love these things in the back. These things. Kodama's, I think it was. In Neo, the Kodamas look different, but I think in Spirited Away they were called Kodamas as well. But they look like this instead. So, anyway. An evolved Ninja Gaiden experience. I descend onto the stage of Yakumo's first battle, only to be confronted by the transformed cityscape of Tokyo, revealed during the Develop Direct earlier this year, 4 months ago. As the Raven Clan's ninja prodigy, Yakumo is well versed in signature Ninja Gaiden actions, such as the technique of shadowless footstep, guessing that's the dodge, which allows him to run freely along the walls. I like this wall run, never. And the flying bird flip, an essential move for ascending to higher ground of effortlessly navigating the vertical sprawl of towering buildings. Yakumo flying bird flip is the iconic when you jumping back and forth between a gap to climb it. So that's that. Where we are. Yakumo takes on the Divine Dragon Order with the stylish precision, blending a sense of nostalgic combat flow with the new assassinate mechanic. There you can self-assassinate. I did cover this in the last video. Just to silently and skillfully neutralize outlying threats before engaging with a larger group of enemies. The early portion of the first stage progressed smoothly under his capable hands. Of course, it's the tutorial stage, so it's going to be smoothly even if you're bad at video games most of the time. Pardon me. As Yakumo continues through the earliest part of the game, I soon find myself warming up to his initial moves and techniques. Probably a beginner character thing, right? And just as the itch for even more cool ninja action was about to begin, I met Tyron, a senior ninja who appears throughout the various locations, including the early part of his first stage. Tyron will teach you combat skills in exchange for ninja coins. And for him, I was able to learn some iconic Ninja Gaiden moves, including Flying Swallow, Izuna Drop, and even the technique of Ultimate Guidance. This easing in of players allow for the crucial time that it needed to take the vast variety of action and technique that awaits players within Ninja Gaiden game. This confirms the vendor you have is named Tyrant. The vendor that we talked about yesterday, we saw clips of him too. You buy stuff from him. You buy techniques from him. You can buy items from him. You can talk with him, and there was you can train. You can go to a training room. Things cost. It's like kind of like Ninja Gaiden 2, but it's more like Ninja Gaiden 3. It's in Ninja Gaiden 3, you can just open up your menu whenever and spend karma points to buy upgrades. In Ninja Gaiden 2, you have to go to a vendor statue, and then you upgrade your weapon, and your weapon unlocks new moves. So again, this gives me hope. They seem to have combined best of two worlds here. People like to go to the vendor. People like the upgrade system in 2. And it was good, but it meant you were locked out till you get to a vendor, right? And having your moves locked behind that was kind of ass. So in 3, they were like, okay, you can, as long as you have karma, you can just open up your menu and you buy your moves, right? But the bad thing about it was like some of your core moves were locked behind it. Like Flying Swallow was just locked, and that made no sense to me why Flying Swallow is locked. That should be like a move he always has. Like something like Cicada Rush, that makes sense because it's a new move, right? The jumping bow attacks and all that, those are new moves. You can lock them behind like stuff, and they kind of did so. But yeah, this seems to be best of both worlds. You go to a vendor to buy moves. You don't upgrade your weapons, but we don't know that. Maybe that's Ryu's mechanics. Maybe Ryu upgrades his weapons to unlock moves. Maybe Yakumo is the one that has to, buy moves individually. Among these newly introduced combats, was I here actually? Yes, I did. Where was I? I should highlight where I start rambling. Yeah, okay. I was here actually. Additionally, for those who are very new to action games, each combat skill can be practiced, the practice mode, through dedicated individual ninjutsu training sessions. So this tells me that they actually have a training course aside from you having a training room. They might give you actual tutorials to how to chain stuff together. That's cool. And beyond just the classic moveset, Tyron also offers a variety of new techniques that promise to deliver a fresh experience distinct from past Ninja Gaiden entries. Yeah, we saw some new moves in there that I have no idea what they are. Among these newly introduced combat skills, is the Fatal Flash, the skill that lets you slip in an instant follow-up input when you successfully match your attack with an enemy's attack. According to Nakao, landing a Fatal Flash will force enemies to drop Blood Essence, even when they aren't entirely defeated. You can then immediately transition into the technique of Ultimate Guidance to launch a series of devastation ultimate techniques. Oof, that sounds like a lot of cool shit that can happen if you actually clash with your attack with the enemy's attack. Yeah, it's or capitalize on the advantage by repositioning. The more you learn to read the enemy behavior, the more you can shift the momentum of battle in Yakuma's favor, opening even more pathways of combat driven purely by your skills. This is a boss. Why can I click on this? Oh, I could click on these two. Yeah, weird. I can't zoom in this one, but I have my ways. Yeah. And yeah, boss. This looks like an AO boss, funny enough, but Ashura maybe? Maybe Ashura like. When you see 4 hands, it usually means Ashura, but this guy might have more than 4. It's Buddha-ish too, kind of like you see the Buddha face right here. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This guy goes in the air and sends down these weapons in a very fast succession, so you have to run away fast. It was in the trailer if you want to view it yourself. Okay, the Bloodraven form. As the player session proceeds, Nakao shares more detail about the unique traits of Bloodraven form, including the attack, including the fact that when activated, it causes all your regular inputs to form completely new moves. This makes it essential for you to understand how to make use of it during combat. Given that the Bloodraven form rather quickly depletes the Bloodbind gauge used to activate it. So, I'm here. Let's highlight that. So what this meant, the flash, fatal flash, right? We saw this. I brought it up. It was at the very end of almost at the very end of the trailer, the IGN trailer that I broke down. Enemies have like super powerful moves that give you a warning when they're about to reach you, and if you hit them with your Bloodraven form, you shatter their guard, you shatter their posture. They become open, their attack stops, and you can fucking destroy them. So that's probably what Fatal Flash can do. Maybe. It might be an extra mechanic to Fatal Flash, but yeah, that's what that is apparently. So if you jump while in Bloodraven form, Yakuma will plunge his sword into the ground and then expand it vertically. We saw this a couple of times, allowing him to move momentarily. Allowing him to momentarily survey the battlefield from up high, which is good. Like in DMC, we double jump to see what's going on, then we land and we adjust to combat, right? The same thing here. Nakao explains, eventually you'll learn to launch attacks from this state, but at its core, it's a technique but best used to pause and invincibility and observe enemy movements. Right? So there might be boss mechanics hidden behind this that you have to maybe they AoE the floor and you have to be on your sword to avoid it. Who knows? Nakao also details another mechanic within Bloodraven form, a counter move called Hogeki, which can deflect powerful enemy attacks and even cause stagger in super armored foes. If you want to take caution and safe approach against enemies, you can match a long range Bloodraven form technique on this strong attack. This causes Hogeki relatively easily. The strong attack can cause Hogeki relatively easily. Describes Nakao. However, by staying far, you're giving up your ability to effectively follow up on the staggered enemies. This creates a seesaw game where you will be able to decide to take either the safe routes, but with diminishing returns, or maximize your gains by staying as close range as possible your enemies in hopes of successful Hogeki. So it's a counter move, most likely. It sounds like a counter move. There's a lot of parry in this game. Holy, like they made this fucking game for me. It seems that unless I see it, and maybe I have seen it, and I just don't know the name of the move, so I can't really connect the scene to scene. So I don't have a good explanation for this, but it seems like you can counter stuff, and the closer you are, the easier it is for you to follow up. Probably because you delim them or something, or maybe they stagger for a little bit of time. So if you're closer, you don't have to close distance and potentially give up on the stagger time to actually launch enemies and stuff. Probably gonna use this as the thumbnail for this video because I need more Ryu in my life now. Now, next portion. The Bloodraven form also features. I don't know why they have Ryu pictures when they don't talk about Ryu. It actually bothers me. The Bloodraven form also features the powerful ability to pierce through enemy guards and deal damage. If enemies are blocking your attacks, you can use your Bloodraven form, which is hold your right trigger, I think, and press light or heavy. And yeah, you can break through the guard. So we're back on being equal grounds with ninjas. In Ninja Gaiden, most of the time, enemies feel a little bit they have more utility than you because they can break your guard, they can grab you and stuff like instantly, right? But you can't. You don't have the ability to grab instantly sometimes. I know you have the Falcon Flip thing when you can press you press A and X or circle and sorry square and triangle to twice to jump, do a flip and grab him, smack him to a wall, right? That's your insta grab. But how many times have you seen enemies dodge that? So where was I? I forgot. Okay. Pierce enemy guards and deal the Bloodraven form also features very powerful to pierce enemy guards that deal damage and mastering the time into the woman can drag links. So just okay. It's the fastest way to break an enemy's guard, and Nakao helped demonstrate this for me in action. I noticed weaving the Bloodraven form into my combat flow caused a dramatic flow caused. But there was a space here they forgot to put. Flow caused a dramatic shift in difficulty. I find myself both awed and slightly disheartened watching Nakao demonstrate pure peak performance, but he assures me with a smile when Platinum Games speaks to Team Ninja about its next Ninja Gaiden. We often joke that we made something that really doesn't feel like a modern game. It's just too hard. This is just too hard is the best thing a Ninja Gaiden player can hear. Because before all these Soul shenanigans, before these nonsense, oh my god, Dark Souls is too hard, it's the hardest game. Before all that, Ninja Gaiden stood at the peak of game difficulty. It was harder than the MC3 on DMD, it was harder than anything else. Because it was relentless. In a bad way, but it was still fun. You really felt like you were at a disadvantage at all fucking times. And especially in Ninja Gaiden 2 Vanilla. Yeah, you ate incendiary shurikens like 5 a second, and you had to iframe through every single one of them, otherwise you'd die. And yeah, it was just relentless. And when you beat it, though, when you actually overcome that, it felt super good. So that's why people cherish it. That difficulty spike was really enjoyable. I personally don't like to be in positions like that. I get my satisfaction out of stability. Call me a basic bitch, but I like when everything works and clicks together. I don't like to fight the game to make it work properly. I say that, and my favorite Ninja Gaiden is Ninja Gaiden 3, which all you do in that game is fight the damn game to make shit work. So I'm being contradictory of myself right now, so ignore me. Yeah, all that, yeah, just too hard. Yeah, okay. So these days, games. Oh, here we go. These days, games are trending towards being easier to play, but Ninja Gaiden 4 goes into a complete opposite direction. So don't lose heart. Weapon skills, the caddis wire, and the bloodbath kill. Bloodbath kill. That sounds fucking amazing. In addition to Bloodraven form, several newly introduced elements promise to further deepen the experience. Weapon skills that are bound to each weapon you pick up through your journey, the grappling hook like tool called caddis wire. I hope I'm saying this right. Wire used by Yakumo to soar through the air, and the berserk gauge, which builds as you land hits. Berserk gauge is the purple gauge. Now I know a name for it. It's the purple gauge under your weapons. That's the purple one that fills up and you can go into like a super move. I think that's what the bloodbath kill is. Because every time you kill people with that bar being active, you get like this cool cutscene for each time. Which builds as you land hits. Take damage or perform the obliteration technique, encouraging aggressive combat. And also ultimate technique. When you land ultimate techniques, that bar, baby, goes up. That bar fills up 20% landing like a level 2 UT. Kind of sad they failed to mention that. But you can see it in the IGN gameplay if you pay attention. Of these, what especially caught my eye was how the Berserk gauge and how its powerful Berserk state can change the board entirely in a single will place hit. Once you enter Berserk state, you are given the opportunity to unleash devastating finishing moves or bloodbath kills. That's the cutscene thing. The red page thing you get. Red filter when you kill someone or when you hit the move. For Takia, oh boy, for Take Minakata, the first weapon, Kate Minakata. Okay. What is that transitan? The kata means the blade. Take. My Japanese needs a little bit of work still. The first weapon you wield using the charge attack will instantly kill lesser enemies, regardless of their remaining health, says Nakao. Backing up this impression, while my skills only allow for a couple of bloodbath kills to land onto the enemy, each one was just as game-changing and aesthetic feeling as the other. That's the purpose of it, it's the feel-good move. As my hands-on session concluded, sad, I sat down with Nakao and talked more. I think this is the gentleman that did the review. Sat down with Nakao to talk more Ninja Gaiden 4. During the session, he shared more about the thought process behind Yakumo and the new protagonist. The new protagonist. The modernization of the iconic series and his hopes for re-energizing one of his favorite genres. The interview with Yuji Nakao-san. Producer and director of Ninja Gaiden. He is a platinum developer. He's not a... Actually, this might be Nakao. In the past, Ryu Hayabusa stood as the protagonist of the Ninja Gaiden series. Again, there's a space missing there. But in Ninja Gaiden 4, Yakumo steps in as the new lead character. Now that we've seen more of Yakumo in action with his unique mechanics, could you tell us more about what makes him in such an appealing character? One of the key reasons we choose to introduce a new protagonist in this time is that Ninja Gaiden 4 marks the series' return after a long hiatus. We trust that the longtime fans who followed the series so far will continue to support. But at the same time, we also wanted to create a character that would allow new players, those starting fresh with the franchise, i.e. Nero, i.e. Viola, i.e. fucking, I don't know, Atreus. It's the shit the old heads hate. I know I'm going to... Let me finish this before I go on a ramble on this. To begin on equal footing and grow alongside the protagonists. That was the shared vision between Team Ninja and Platinum Games, and from that vision, Yakumo was born. So, cool thing here. And I know how everybody feels about your main boy getting sidelined by the new kid on the block. I get it. It sucks. But it feels right because we are old heads. We are expired people. Dante and Virgil are done, right? There's a lot story to tell. There's a lot you can do with their backstory, with their future. Especially Dante's not depressed anymore, right? But, we're always going to play the game. As long as there's not a dumbass reboot again, right? We're always going to play. We see our main protagonist in there. We're down for the game, right? We're always going to buy these games. We love them as long as we have time. Bayo fans will still play Bayo as long as Bayonetta is in it in some degree. If it's only Viola, maybe not, but as long as Bayo is there, we're going to buy the game. I'm going to buy the game. Same thing here. I know God of War is a different thing, but thankfully Atreus fucked off into the oblivion, so we don't have to deal with him anymore. But with Ninja Gaiden, Farum, JT, everybody that plays Ninja Gaiden is going to look at this and be like, okay, Ryu's in the game. I'm going to check this out. I love Ninja Gaiden. But your new players are going to look at this and be like, and again, this is a dev's perspective. I'm giving you dev's perspective. This is my perspective as a developer too. When you want to grab new players, you want new things, because if they look at the old stuff, it's not going to grab them. They have a different aesthetic back in the day. Like Ryu looks like your ninja back in the day. The coolest thing a ninja was Ryu. The headband, the mask, the insignia on his head, all that stuff, that was the coolest shit, right? And if you look at the aesthetic of Yakumo, it is to appeal to the newer people, the newer, younger generation, because that's what they like aesthetically. So the only problem comes in here when if your main character gets sidetracked or sidelined or benched, like in DMC4, Dante felt like he was benched. The enemies weren't designed around him. The missions weren't designed around him. It was a Nero game. Dante wasn't even supposed to be in it, but I think Ruben-san fought for it a little bit. That hey, like you probably want to put Dante in here. The fans are not gonna like it if he's not in there, and they were right. That Nero was hated for like 2-3 years when the game came out. People did not like Nero, but now look at it. It grew on people, and the people that Nero grew on were now the old heads. That new generation is now the old heads, and they love their boy. So same thing is gonna happen here. So keep an open mind. This is just going to bring more attraction to the game, to the franchise, to the series, to the genre. That means the development is going to get good press. It's going to make good sales, and all that leads into shareholders and the advertisement to be like, yeah, you know what? We're going to fund you. Do another one. Do a second. Do Ninja Gaiden 5. Do Ninja Gaiden, I don't know, Razor's Black. And then do Ninja Gaiden 3. Sorry, not 3, 6. It's like remake the series. It leads to all that. So keep an open mind. Don't boycott. I don't even want to use that word, but don't say you're not going to play the game because there's a new character. Just play the game and leave good feedback for the developers. Like, hey, can we get more Ryu? Can we get more dedicated Ryu missions? Can Ryu be like playable in more things? You know, that type of feedback is much more valuable than I don't want to play because new guy sucks. You know who you are. I'm not going to name you. So keep an open mind. Again, Yakumo looks awesome. He looks awesome. His gameplay, by the look of it, it feels amazing to play him. Those hit stops feel satisfying. You can look at them and feel the satisfaction. I cannot imagine what they'll do with the haptic feedback of the PS5 or just basic vibration, even on like Xbox controllers and stuff. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a good game. The only issue might be just pricing and game length. But we don't care about game length. We just replay the game. That's hack and slashes. We just keep fucking doing it for 8 years again. But anyways, I'm going to sidetrack again. I'll give final thoughts after I finish the rest of this. So let's get through it fast. Of course, reliving the original Ninja Gaiden experience still holds great value. But we believe that we both, long-time and newer fans, look at that, are truly looking for a new form of play that goes beyond what comes before. With that assumption in mind, we position Yakumo as a fresh yet somehow nostalgic pillar that would help us create a game that feels both renewed and familiar. That's why Yakumo has Flying Swallow, his Drop. He still plays like Ryu. He plays like a Ninja Gaiden character, right? All the other girls from 3 had it too. Rachel didn't, sadly, but from 3, yeah. All the girls had Izuna Drop. All the girls had a Flying Swallow, their own variants of it. And, they felt like the Hayabusa clan stuff. I know Kisame, Jesus. Kasumi is not. So, different thing. Itagaki didn't even want Kasumi in the game, I think, in that title. They just wanted her in DOA. But anyways, Yakumo doesn't just bring visual strike in action with his use of his Bloodraven form, a completely new and flashy combat for the series. He also inherits delicate technique gameplay that has defined Ninja Gaiden over the years, his base form. Right. It's what I was talking about. In Ninja Gaiden 4, we aim to fully realize everything we've ever wanted to express in an action game. This sentence is so important. This sentence is so important. They've been cooking this game for years to make it feel good. And Yakumo embodies that vision. We hope players unleash his potential in their own unique way and truly make the most of his capabilities. See, quick thing here. I like this, but players growing to a character and expressing their skills and unleashing the potential of the character means the character needs to have depth. Nero doesn't have depth. You play Nero for 2 weeks, you're mastered him. If you're not a newcomer, but if you know anything about hack and slash games. You pick up Dante, you're still learning him. You picked up Dante in 2008 in DMC4, you're still gonna learn shit playing him to this day. So as long as Yakumo has the same depth with his weapons that Ryu has, and I think he does, because his Bloodraven form definitely adds stuff. Maybe not as much as Ryu, because Ryu has all those weapons. His Dragon Blade has enough moves to put me to sleep. So, I think Ninja Gaiden 3 Dragon Blade, especially in Razor's Edge, had enough moves to completely undermine everything he had in Ninja Gaiden 2. Dragon Blade had every tool you could possibly ask for in Ninja Gaiden 3. If you put Ninja Gaiden 3 Ryu with just Dragon Blade in 2, there will be not a single point he will struggle in. Like, that weapon was so diverse in what he can do. So if they do that to all his weapon, like the talons, the scythe, if all those weapons also have like insane utility, then this game is going to be amazing. Although I'm leading my soul on, so let's move on. While playing Ninja Gaiden 4, it felt like every aspect of the series had been meticulously tuned, and the overall feel optimized for gamers living in the modern era. That sounds good, as long as the game is not too easy. In the process of refreshing the experience, did you face any particular struggles or conflicts in terms of combat design? Could you share any memorable challenges? And Nakal, I think, replies, I'd say the hardest part was the character movement system. Oh yeah, the movement in Ninja Gaiden. What you might classify as movement-related actions, we put the most effort into fine-tuning the responsiveness of these elements. In the past, hold up, throat's dry, I need water. In the past, Ninja Gaiden titles, there were many movement-based actions, ranging from running, jumping, canceling out of attacks, including the reverse wind technique, and more. Reverse wind, I forgot what that was, and more. Each of these had a very human, tactile grip to them. That solid, grounded feeling emphasized the game's weighty and linear movement style. But to aim for even faster high-speed action, we had to significantly enhance responsiveness. Yes. Not having delay and too much recovery frames on movements or any button press makes the game feel so much better. Another example I can use for this is Trish. Trish in DMC4 Special Edition feels like absolute garbage to play because all her moves feel like they have twice the recovery of what Dante does, and they have pretty much the same moveset. But Trish takes forever to recover, to cancel. So she feels horrible, and that's why you never see anybody play her. You barely see any combo videos, you barely see any of that. So making your character not feel like they're fucking stuck all the time on the ground after they do something, that's important. Being able to cancel attacks is really important. Even games like Monster Hunter, like Greatsword. You swing with it, you don't have to wait there till your character picks up the heavy-ass weapon. You can roll cancel, guard cancel, or just sheath cancel. Canceling is really important in hack and slash games. In every game. I mean, shit, it's reload canceling in shooters. Also important. Anyways, that said, improving responsiveness while faithfully inheriting the unique sense of grip the series is known for, and ensuring it all feels good for newcomers picking up Ninja Gaiden for the first time meant we had to strike a very delicate balance between two differing needs. In the end, I think we achieved a feeling that is incredibly approachable yet still familiar to the point that the veteran fans can pick up the controller and instantly think, ah yes, this is how it felt. It was a process. This is what DMC5 felt like after a fucking decade of waiting. It was a process that took a lot of collaborative discussion with Team Ninja, but I truly feel we arrived at the result we're proud of. Same boss again. Is it 2 pictures? They do have 2 pictures of this fool. Anyways. With Ninja Gaiden 4 marking the first new installment in the series in about 13 years, what kind of impact would you hope it might have on the future of Ninja Gaiden and the gaming industry as a whole? Speaking from somewhat personal perspective, I grew up during the golden ages of 3D/action games. Just say hack and slash, for the love of God. For people of my generation, it feels like these types of games we grew up playing have become a lot less common in recent years. Yes, it's just Battle Royale, balls, and fucking shooters nowadays. And Souls-like. We've seen this rise of Souls-like games, which have certainly become very popular, unfortunately. Of course, I've played and enjoyed many Souls-like games myself. Of course, some of them are really great. Bloodborne. But at the same time, I also think there is some truth to the belief that classic 3D/action, just say hack and slash, have been harder to find lately. Maybe it's just my own wishful thinking, but I can't help but feel that a lot of action game fans are starting to crave that experience again. Isn't it about time we all dove back in? Laughs. And I'm over here crying because it's true. I've been dying for some good hack. I'm playing ZZZ out of desperation. I hate gotchas. I hate their philosophy. I hate their approach. But because I'm craving so much, like, I want an action game. I want a hack and slash game. I play pretty much everything on the market. I'm playing a fucking gotcha game to keep to feed the urge. It's a good game though. Out of everything, like Withering Waves, Punishing Grey Raven, and ZZ are probably the best gotchas you can play if you like hack and slash games. And not being able to see shit on screen, you can play PGR. I really feel like Ninja Gaiden 4 has turned out to be the kind of game that could strike a chord with these fans of the genre. If it could carve out its own place in the history of modern slash action, hack and slash, and as a new benchmark of the genre, I'd be thrilled. And if Ninja Gaiden 4 could serve as a spark that reignites excitement around slash action games, then that would be even better. Well, if I'm being quite honest, DMC5 did that in 2020, 2018 even. Oh my god, it's been 6-7 years since DMC5 came out. Oh yeah, DMC pretty much did this. DMC reignited hack and slash. When Itsuno and Matt walked up on stage and said DMC is back, it was truly hack and slash came back. You saw a lot of games after that point too that actually tried to be hack and slash and not just, Souls shovelware garbage. A lot of games sparked from it too beforehand, like the inspiration of the Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and Nier even were always there. They all birthed each other. I mean, DMC1 spawned God of War, right? Onimusha spawned DMC, and God of War sparked a lot of things too. Ninja Gaiden on the side competing as a hack and slash, right? It was just, all these things gave birth to what just came. DMC5 just reignited it. And then you got Solstice. Then you got Stellar Blade. I know it feels Souls-like at first, but once you get through it and unlock some core upgrades, that game can turn into a hack and slash game. Pretty good one too. And then now you have Ninja Gaiden. The collection came back, and it's there. People want it. We just don't get it because these things are so fucking hard to make. Making a hack and slash game is arguably as hard as making a 3D fighting game. It takes immense manpower. It takes immense time, insane attention to detail, and not a lot of people are willing to do it. That's why it pushes out shovelware Souls-like garbage. I hate Souls-like. I'm sorry, I actually do. You're never gonna stop hearing me talk about that shit. I only give credit to Bloodborne, and that's it. Maybe Elden Ring, maybe because Elden Ring did some stuff right. What are your thoughts on Ninja Gaiden 4? And Neo, sorry. Neo is actually unique Souls-like. I think FromSoft and, Koei Tecmo can actually do decent Souls-like. But that's it. What are your thoughts on Ninja Gaiden 4 supporting Xbox Play everywhere? Hey. We play on everything, not just Xbox. Allow it to be enjoyed with Xbox on PC, Xbox... I feel like I should skip this part, but whatever. Xbox Series X and S, I don't know why they force poor developers to create games for the fucking Series S. That shit's horrible. It's like a PS3. Xbox Cloud and across various devices and platforms. The Ninja Gaiden series has a history of being ported to handhelds and various devices. In that context, it's also important to remember that the 3D iteration of Ninja Gaiden started on Xbox. That is true, so I could shut up. The fact that it has now returned on Xbox and from the very start offering a wide range of play options make it, in my view, an excellent example of how games can respond to the diverse needs of today's gamers. Being able to enjoy Ninja Gaiden 4 on different platforms and on the go or at home, right from the launch day, this is the kind of happiness you need. So this is talking about the new device Xbox introduced, the handheld thing, right? They're trying to advertise that. That's why I said I should skip this. This is kind of PR bullshit. They're trying to tell you that you can play our cloud Ninja Gaiden game if you want. You can play the Ninja Gaiden 4 on cloud on that device, but whatever. Of course, this game is tough. It's a tough one, so when you want to really focus, playing at home is ideal. Thank fucking. But if you're just progressing the story a bit, it's good to be able to take it out and go on. If you're working, you're gonna go take a shit on company time, and you want to pull out your 10 feet long Xbox screen and play that shit a little bit, I guess you can do that. I think having the flexibility is how you enjoy games is a real strength. Personally, I'm the kind of player who enjoys playing in various ways myself, and I benefit from being able to choose how I play, which leads me to truly understand its value. Ninja Gaiden 4 delivers not only the traditional Ninja Gaiden style experience, but also introduces a new thrill through fresh combat enabled by the Bloodraven. I almost said Bloodborne. Bloodraven form. With that in mind, I'd like to ask, assuming that mastering the Bloodraven form draws out 100% of the character's power, what happens if the players like me try to push through the game using only the base form? You're dog shit. Sorry. One of the core strengths of Ninja Gaiden 4 is that the foundational gameplay is firmly built upon the traditional Ninja Gaiden experience. On top of that, the game introduces a system where players can momentarily switch into Bloodraven form, adding a dynamic new layer to the game. This does not answer the question. He's saying skill issue, use your tools, you dumb fuck. Another cool, this is his version of the staff. I don't know what's it called. I'm just gonna call it the Yakumo staff. That said, the stage you played today is still the very beginning of the game, so it's designed so that you can make it through even without relying too heavily on the Bloodraven form. I'm guessing there's going to be some enemies that if you don't utilize your tools, you're going to get fucking annihilated on the spot. I can almost imagine there's an enemy that continuously does the little warning attacks, and until you break him, he just doesn't stop. Like a Blitz, or Fury, and shit like that. As you progress further, however, you will naturally begin to notice opportunities where weaving Bloodraven form techniques into established stats and enhance your experience. The game is structured to encourage this kind of realization, adaptation, and growth. After all, trying to learn... Well, I'm reading fast for you ADHD motherfuckers because I know this video is already an hour long. Anyways, trying to learn both the traditional mechanics and a new system all at once would mean taking on too many new elements. No, it won't be, simultaneously. Since enemies will attack without mercy, even as you're still learning, it could easily lead to... Let me take a breath. It easily lead to a steep spike in a perceived difficulty. That's why we encourage you to gradually experiment with both the base form and the Bloodraven form, discovering the uniqueness or the unique strengths of each over time. Ultimately, if you do that, if you learn to fully utilize the potential of both approaches, and Ninja, Gaiden 4 truly begins to shine. I don't know what N Ninja means. Truly begins to shine. That's when the game reveals itself as a completely new experience, something truly worthy of being called the latest entry in the Ninja Gaiden series. So please, dive deep and master it. And this is where you can buy the Xbox version of it. And that's the end of that. So, we talked about a lot, so I'm going to keep this as short as I possibly can. This game is going to make or break Ninja Gaiden for the most part. If this doesn't sell well, I don't see them tackling Ninja Gaiden for a very long time, if ever, again. Because, and again, this is developer insights. The industry has shifted into a very annoying and soulless direction. A lot of companies are pushing out gachas. A lot of companies are pushing out shooters, extraction shooters, battle royales, and stuff like that, because those have a very big audience in the sense of people playing, like Fortnite. A lot of kids just get their devices, their Switches, their Xbox, PlayStation, PC, whatever they get, and they just hop on Fortnite. And they just die, and they just load into the next part, and they just die. There's no sense of improvement. They just want a sense of succeed. They just want to win that one match for the day. They just want to get that good kill for the day. That they don't want to improve, basically. And games like this, like Mario 64, Tetris, all those games tested your patience, your recognition of what's going to happen, of your memory. If you play Mario for the first time and you hover over a fucking brick and it just falls, second time you're going to remember that shit. You're not going to forget it. You're going to try to remember that shit, right? And, that was the thing. It helps you develop a skill set in gaming. Battle Royale doesn't fucking do that. Gachas don't do that. Souls-like does that, thankfully. Souls-like does that to a very, very small degree. That's why a lot of people find it enjoyable to play Souls-like game, because at the end of the day, and I'll fight you on this if you try to argue with me, at the end of the day, you only need to master two mechanics. Attack at the right time, dodge at the right time. That's all you need to do in a Souls game to be successful. You don't need to go 40,000 strength and 200 dexterity to wield your cool dagger, or to could just go all in on intellect to just do that one split. You don't need to do any of that, right? You can grab your shitty starting weapon, upgrade it to max, dodge, attack, dodge, attack, dodge, attack, and they'll die, right? Why do you think people like Sekiro so much? Because Sekiro, you do a third thing. You fucking block and parry, right? People's capacity of Souls, it's because people are so restricted on their imagination and their skill set. That's why Souls game feels so good, because they have to master two things, and when they master that two things, oh my god, this game is great. I mastered this. It was hard, but it feels easy now. And then you throw him into you throw those same players that say they mastered Ninja Gaiden into normal mode DMC or to normal mode our acolyte Ninja Gaiden, and they're gonna eat shit for 2 hours before they figure out, oh, I can jump after sliding. It's like, oh, I can launch enemies. So it's like people don't know what launching is. So what I'm getting at is, buy this goddamn game and buy any hack and slashes made by a good company that's worth a damn. Because I'm not being sponsored, by the way. I just like hack and slash genre. I barely even make money off of YouTube. I'm just saying, please support hack and slashes, because we need more good games. If this game has a little bit of a fucking FPS issues, don't go review bomb it on Steam. Right? Go there, it's like, hey, can you guys fix the FPS issue? Go on Twitter, hey, can you guys fix the FPS? Don't review bomb this shit, right? Don't do any stupid things. Just stick with it, give constructive feedback, and this goes for every game, by the way. Unless it's DEI, then you can review bomb it. I don't give a fuck. I don't recommend doing that either. If a game is good, just support it. But in the sense of constructive criticism, it's if you give feedback of what's wrong and maybe even imply how they can fix it, if you actually know, if you have insight on how to actually fix it, right? Don't suggest shit you think. If you know a way, suggest that. If you actually know for a fact that this would help it, do that, because developers do try it. Community managers usually take the feedback and they're like, maybe I should mention this to the team. This seems like a solution. And sometimes it is. We have had that on Monster Hunter a couple times. Not with stability, just with designs. I'm in the concept team of Monster Hunter, so that's why we get feedback sometimes. I got feedback from my daughter on some of my designs too, funny enough. But you can get feedback from the fans if they're being constructive. But if I scroll on Twitter and I see someone calling me slurs and stuff because the FPS dropped to 59 FPS per second, it's like, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna skip that comment. It's like, it's not worth it. So be mindful. If the game has issues, I beg of you, please just respond respectfully and give constructive criticism. And we need more of these games. We need Ninja Gaiden to be back and stay. We need classic God of War back. So, request Kratos to get his kneecaps back so he can jump again. We need more DMC. And I know the DMC community constantly asks that, when's DMC 6? When's DMC 6? When's DMC 0? And that's good. We're getting collaborations. We unfortunately got the anime, but the anime, as much as I hate it, they did two good things. We got one of the most badass, amazing Evanescence songs since Bring Me to Life. And people actually hated the anime so much, they went back and played the game, so it kind of sparked DMC to get played more. So, anime is anime. It did something good, right? But and we have the PGR collaboration. Punishing Grey Riven has a DMC collaboration. So, cool stuff. Always ask for more. If you like something, tell them. Please tell developers you like something and you want more of it. Don't just go to complain. We get enough of that. We get so much complaints all the damn time. We don't get sick of it. We want to fix it, but things take time. So if you like something, tell us you like it. We'll use it as fuel to be like, hey, maybe, director, people are asking for us to do more. Can we do more? Can we? And the director's like, fine, let me go ask the higher ups to see if we could fund something else. It's like, it works. It works. When the feedback's there, the shareholders will be like, oh, really? They want more? Here's $50. Make something happen. And we'll take that $50 and we'll turn it into something. You get a photo mode or some shit. Like, it happens. Like, stuff like this happens. So, anyway, personal note. That was my personal note on the subject matter of bringing back hack and slash games. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope my volume is either not too low or not too high. Let me know if the volume can use some work. But other than that, I hope they don't do an article tomorrow because feel like I lost my voice. But if they do, whatever, I'll cover it instantly. So it's been an hour and 14 minutes. Hope you can enjoy it, and peace out.